Hello, everybody. Welcome to Arsenal X, the Xbox podcast here on Boss Rush Games, where we throw up the X. Because we're about to throw down. I'm your host, Corey Deering, and alongside me from the XP cast is Stoy. Hi, Stoy.
Hello. Glad to be back.
Yes.
It's going. So I'm a 40-year-old man playing against a bunch of 20-year-olds in soccer. And, you know, it's one of those things my brain thinks, I got this. Mm-hmm. My legs, you're like, no, you don't. So
yeah,
I'm
that's
a little
what I said when I
sore.
stood up off the couch today. It's like,
Yeah.
You got this. You stood up. My knee almost gave out. I'm like, you don't got this.
No, you don't got this, dude.
No,
we're not on the same level.
No lunch for you today. You can't even get to the kitchen to make it. Also,
I guess I'll starve.
Yeah, it's all right. I could use a skip a lunch once in a while, judging by the size of my stomach right now.
Now stop it.
I am gonna lose some weight though. I need to, and had a big discussion with my wife about it yesterday. So
Okay. Well, you can hire LaRon as your personal trainer if you want.
I could, but I don't want to because I feel like he'd kill me. So we got to start small.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Speaking of small, joining us also is that retro code Eddie V.
Hello, everybody.
I don't know if you're not that small, Ed. I was just messing.
Eddie's jacked.
Yeah.
No, you are jacked. You got
Eddie wanted to challenge me in an arm wrestling competition, and I was like, "You're out of your mind."
No, like I keep shoot. I was just like, Stoy would throw me across the
Yeah,
the
right, Eddie. Come on. Whatever.
Wow.
So you got them guns. You look fit.
Bang, bang.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't forget to introduce my friends Smith and Wesson.
Ooh, that's a gun reference.
Yeah.
I got that reference. Jesse will be joining us when he wakes up. Maybe. If he doesn't wake up till tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know how his life works. He said give me 30 minutes and it's been 2 hours, so.
Well, he was my roommate last night when we were at the video game summit. And he was like, I didn't really want to. I gave him the offer to if he wanted to stay with one of us overnight at the hotel. And so, yeah, surprisingly, he didn't wake me up, even though he scared me a bit. He's like, I forgot to bring my sleep apnea machine.
Oh, God.
And I was like, oh, my God, I'm not going to get any sleep tonight. But, yeah, I fell asleep and I slept pretty decent. So
Nice.
Apparently he didn't because he slept by the window.
Oh,
So,
God.
Yeah, and it's like one of the main highways was like Highway 83 down in Illinois. It was like right outside our window. So, yeah, he heard everything.
Ooh, boy.
Buddy guy's tired.
Look, I like sleeping by the window. I like hearing ambient noises outside. It's comforting, so it's fine.
I don't mind it either. I mean, I live in the city of Milwaukee, so I'm kind of used to ambient noise. If I go to a place where there's no noise, I get freaked out.
Yeah, it's like, what's wrong with this place? Where's all the noise?
Yeah, exactly. Like my ears are ringing. I can hear that like plain as day and nothing else.
Yeah, like when me and my wife went to New York, it was like, man, there's so much noise here. It's nice.
Yeah.
And, so that's how that went. But you guys both went to the video game summit this weekend. So
Yes.
you guys have a good time. You want to talk about that for a little bit? You guys have fun?
We had a really good time. Got to see a lot of retro games and some people who made, were high scores and selling a lot of retro stuff. A lot of Nintendo stuff there compared to like Xbox and PlayStation. I'm like, they had like Famicom and Super Famicom games. They were selling systems like Wii's and Wii U's, Nintendo system controllers. Like they were selling a lot of stuff, but they had some really cool stuff there. And then me and Stoy actually got to play a Zelda quiz, and we both tied for second place. So
that was rigged.
You lost to Stephanie. It's fine. We get
that
it.
contest was rigged. Well, Stephanie is Miss Zelda, so I mean, it's no like I knew like I can't go up against her. She's part of the Another Zelda podcast, so
Yeah.
you know. And like there was like 4 questions on the Oracle games.
Oh gosh.
And one a Majora's Mask, and I was like, I never played either of these. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Those Oracle games, man. Those are like even people who know Zelda barely know those games.
yeah. Oh, the other one was Triforce Heroes.
Oh.
And I think I even said it out loud. I was like, I didn't know Triforce Heroes was a real Zelda game because it's a game about dress up.
It's true. It's fair.
Yeah.
It's not a real Zelda game. I'm just going
I
to be
don't even know
honest
why
with you guys.
I mean, that was my issue with, and I think I said this to you, Eddie, that one of the reasons why I don't think the Majora's Mask is a Zelda game is that if you remove the only identifier that makes it a Zelda game is literally a Link. If you take Link out of it and replace it with another character, it's not a Zelda game anymore. So there's no other like real identifying marks with it. And I kind of feel the same way with Link's Awakening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you remove Link from that, there's nothing else to identify it as a Legend of Zelda game. There are no, the setting's not the same. There's not all the returning characters or, even some of the other like powers or whatever. So, yeah.
Due to the fact that Link's Awakening is majority of it is in place, spoiler alert, as a dream compared to like Link to the Past or a Link Between Worlds.
Yeah, right.
Because that game is like designed behind them and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, coincidentally, Majora's Mask I think is a dream, and Link's Awakening is a dream. So, whatever. We could. This is an Xbox podcast, so
we did have Giordano's though, and that was some good pizza and some really good conversations that we had there. Everybody got really sleepy. I know I was sleepy. So
you looked at me with your tired eyes saying, "Stoy, you look really sleepy." I was like, "I look sleepy."
Ed's always sleepy.
It was definitely the pizza, man. That
the
deep dish pizza was that put me out.
Did you have the barbecue sauce with your chicken? Or
no, I didn't have it with the chicken because it was barbecue chicken pizza already had enough barbecue sauce in it. So.
Oh no, I'm talking about our appetizers. I think they sent us different. Okay. Yeah, because their barbecue sauce was really good.
Yeah.
So.
I didn't have any barbecue sauce.
Poor Corey. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I ended up picking up a couple games. Corey and I, we were talking about this before recording, how I was just amazed at how over the last like year and a half, like video game collecting has become like used games are just their prices have skyrocketed.
It's insane.
Like astronomically. Like games that were like maybe like $30-$40 last year are now like $100 more. And just it's just shocking. Like that's where I am at with my collection now, is that everything I want are now the ridiculously priced items. And I can't justify going to a convention with a budget of like $150 and then just buying one thing. Like it's just I can't justify that. So because one of the things I was looking for was Resident Evil Gaiden for the Game Boy, and I found it there, and of course I turned it over to see what the price was, and it was $180. And I'm like, no, I'm not spending $180 on a Game Boy game. Get out of here.
That's funny.
Yeah, I was telling a story. Because we talked about like modern prices of games, and we was even talking about collections because of how Mario sold like what $2.6 or $1.5 million that for auction, and like Double Dragon 2 sold like $2.6 million. Yeah, when it comes to Nintendo games, because they're so limited and out of print, they're gonna raise up their price highly. Cartridges cost a lot. CDs, not so much, unless it's a very rare game. But a lot of the PlayStation and Xbox stuff is now on the stores where you can just download it. So those prices are not going to be high. The cartridges, though, yeah, you're going to pay a pretty penny. Definitely if it's Nintendo related.
Well, some of them, like, the one thing I guess this ties into our podcast is like old Xbox games are still ridiculously cheap. Like it's very rare that you'll find some of them that are ridiculously expensive. Like actually, I found Def Jam Fight for New York for GameCube, Xbox, and PlayStation 2. And interestingly enough, it's more expensive on the GameCube and cheaper on the Xbox. I think on the Xbox it was like worth $150, and then on I think GameCube it was like $220 or something like that, something astronomical.
It's because all those third-party games on GameCube were so short-printed because nobody played third-party games on their GameCube, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I think the only third-party game that sold more on GameCube than anything else was Soul Calibur.
And BMX Triple X.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, gosh.
So I mean, so you could probably go there with $100 and walk out with probably like 50 Xbox games if you wanted to, because a lot of them are still kind of relatively cheap. But
so, did you pay attention to like a lot, because they had a lot of 360 games? Wasn't it weird that all the collectors pretty much had the same Xbox 360 games? Like, you definitely was going to see Gears, you definitely was going to see Halo, and it was just like and even Fable, like those games, every collector had them.
I mean, that was the prices. Xbox 360 though, was Halo, Fable, Forza, and Gears. Like, that was the 360, you know, and I guess Call of Duty. So I mean,
but it felt like they were trying to get just rid of those games. Like, that's like no kind of collector's item or something.
Yeah. Because those are. Everybody has, like, there's rarely somebody that walks into a video game convention like that to say like, oh, I hope to find a copy of Gears 2 or something like that. You know, like 9 times out of 10, if you own an Xbox 360, you own all the Gears games or you own all the Halo games, because those sold like hotcakes back then. So whereas, you know, if you go there trying to find Asura's Wrath, did you see how much Asura's Wrath is now? It's $90. I don't know why, but it's $90. I found a copy of it. It was a loose copy. It was just the CD for $80. I'm like, that's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, apparently I have a gold mine in N64 games in my basement. So,
do you have the boxes?
I do. They're all complete in box except for 3 games. And I have 30.
You got a gold mine.
I have 35 games downstairs.
So I saw, I think, Resident Evil 2 for the Nintendo 64. That was worth, complete in box, $280.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
It's because it's the only version that has the Resident Evil 0 stuff in it, you know?
Yeah.
Well, except for, I guess the remake probably does too, but I mean, of that era. So, because I think they wanted to connect, because, you know, 0 was the GameCube exclusive, so they wanted to like try to tie it in, I guess, so.
Yeah, they were developing Resident Evil 0 Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
But I think they just ended up pushing it to the GameCube because, you know, they got that exclusive rights to the Resident Evil 1 remake, and that was the sole reason I got a GameCube in the first place.
What, the Resident Evil remake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could give a crap less about Super Mario Sunshine.
Oh no.
Yeah, Sunshine sucks.
Eddie, that's terrible, man. Come on. You even have to admit it.
I
love
you
Sunshine.
Don't.
To be fair,
you don't. Stop lying to yourself.
Anywho,
stop lying to yourself.
I'm not the 3D Mario guy. I think Mario 3D World is the best 3D Mario game, so that's my opinion.
Yeah.
They did have Army of Two the 40th day, but I passed on it because it's not backwards compatible. I'm like, dang it. I mean, I have it for PS3, but I'm like, I wanted it backwards compatible so I could play it on my Series X or Xbox One.
Are you sure? Because I thought, wasn't that on EA Play?
No, the first one. The first one is
just the first one.
It's just the first one, because the second and third one have all that licensed music in it, and you know, I think who was in the third one? I forget who's in the third one.
40th Day. Was that the second one?
No, the Devil's Cartel is the third one.
It's the third one.
Devil's Cartel is the third one. Yeah, that's right.
There's all this licensed music and stuff in those, and they're not licensed in perpetuity. And I guess those games aren't popular enough to put on the service. So
yeah, because they had some 360s to buy if you wanted one, but I'm like, I'm not about to buy one of these just to play one game. I'm like, I still got my PS3.
Dude, I have my 360 hooked up to play the Turtles arcade game, and I have all those arcade games that aren't backwards compatible on my 360. So I guess I could play the 40th day though, because it is hooked up and I do have it digitally. So
rub it in Eddie's face.
I am.
I suppose one of the games I bought was Trauma Center, and I still have my Wii U hooked up to my TV, so I can at least play that. I just got to find a freaking I gotta find a remote somewhere.
That's funny. I actually just bought a bunch of things on my Wii U yesterday.
Look at that. That's a Wii U tablet.
It is, because it's hooked up here, because we're going to do for PAL Block, we're going to do a Zelda timeline playthrough, I think.
Oh, good luck with that.
Yeah. So a lot of those...
Good luck with that.
A lot of the DS games are on... Well, all the Zelda DS games are on Wii U, except for the 3DS games, so...
Actually, I think pretty much all of the Zelda games, yeah.
Yeah.
With the exception of the 3DS games.
And like, I think we're going to do a Metroid...
Twilight Princess HD and...
Yeah. I think we're going to do a Metroid playthrough also, and I ended up getting Zero Mission and Fusion and the Prime Trilogy, since, they refused to put it out. Although, of course,
right.
5 hours after I put it on my Wii U, they're like, "Whoa, Nintendo's holding the HD remaster.
It's ready to go." Yeah, it's ready to go whenever they want to. I'm like,
rumor.
Dude, that's been a rumor since 2018. Remember it was supposed to be revealed at the Game Awards, and then they showed Bayonetta 3 instead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
God. Jerks.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is an Xbox podcast. This is Arsenal X, the Xbox podcast here on Boss Rush Games, where each and every week we get together with our friends from around the internet to talk about our favorite things about Xbox. If you like us, remember to like, subscribe, share, rate, and review wherever you listen to us. You can find us on BossRushGames.com, part of the Boss Rush Network. And I didn't write a thing for this, so I'm going off the seat of my pants.
You're doing great.
Thank you. You can follow us on Twitter at ArsenalXPodcast. You can email the show at arsenalxpodcast@gmail.com. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, remember to leave us those 5 stars and a nice review. It really helps. Thank you. We're going to start out with What's in Our Arsenal, which is the section where we talk about what we've been playing. Stoy, we're going to go your way first. What are you playing besides getting exercise and playing soccer?
Yeah, that's I'm playing. I was playing something. I was playing FIFA in real life today. I jumped back into Red Dead Redemption 2 recently. I don't know what made me stop playing it a long time ago when it came out, because I was really into it when it first came out, and then it kind of fell to the wayside. And then I just recently picked it up again because I started thinking about all these bucket list games that every year I create a list of, like, these are the games I need to beat. So the summer is always kind of the time where there's not a lot of big games coming out, so I actually have time to finish games before the big fall rush. So Red Dead Redemption 2 is definitely on there. But Eddie, we talked about this with a lot of times with the clunky controls of some of the Rockstar games, especially when you get into firefights. Yeah. Now, in Grand Theft Auto, it's a little bit easier because there's a little bit more hard objects, to get behind cover. There's building walls, there's boxes, there's other barriers, whatever. In Red Dead Redemption 2, it's a little bit different. You have to hide behind this, like, misshapen rock or this weird wagon that's turned over. And a lot of times when I try to hit the cover button, it's like Arthur, my character, doesn't know, like, do you want me to take cover here in the middle of gunfire, or do you want me to take cover behind cover? I'm like, behind cover, please. But, like, he doesn't understand where to go. So a lot of times it's a struggle, but at the very least, like, the gunplay is forgiving, that you could literally get shot like 20 times over and still be okay as long as you're playing on normal and whatever. So,
and I feel like the gunplay in Red Dead 2 is better than GTA 5. Like, easier. Like it was easier to use. I'm like, okay, this is what should have been in GTA 5. So I give really credit to Rockstar for that, for Red Dead Redemption 2.
Now, and this is where I think it's because all the guns in Red Dead Redemption are single shot.
Yes.
So, you actually have a little bit more control over your accuracy and your ability to, obviously make accurate shots. So when you're running around with a game, GTA 5, with like an assault rifle or a submachine gun, it becomes a little bit harder to kind of really fully control it. So that's why it's easy for me to just pull out my repeater and just, like, pop shots left and right. Every mission is always like 20 guys flooding the area. You're popping shots, and then you walk away saying, "Wow, I'm a mass murderer," and then just continue the story. So, but yeah, I've been really getting into that, and obviously Skyward Sword came out on Friday, so I jumped back into that, and thank God I don't have to play with motion controls. So
right,
we were talking
about
joystick.
We were talking about that before the show started. Like,
yeah,
gosh, dude, thank God motion controls. I tried. Okay, Galatrad and David gave me some crap on Twitter, and I was like, look, guys, I tried for a good 20 minutes. Okay.
Hey man, I'll die on that hill with you. Like,
look, I tried. Okay.
I'll take them out with you because I did both. When I played it on the Wii, I had to play with the motion controls, and I played that game all the way through. And eventually you kind of get used to it. It makes kind of attack. It was obviously a lot of the enemies that came up to you, like they would block in certain directions and whatever. So it's just basically swinging the Wii mode however way you want, but. I'm just glad I don't have to do that I could just use the joystick and just slash however way I want. The only thing that's hard to do is using the freaking net when you're trying to catch bugs.
Yeah.
Like when I'm trying to catch bugs, I just basically like it's weird how like it doesn't when you try to swipe left or right or something like that, it doesn't register for some reason.
Yeah.
So like I just basically frantically move the joystick around until I catch it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I look like an idiot doing it, but whatever. If I caught the bug, I caught the bug. But
that's fine.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care. So at least I don't have to use motion controls.
It's true. That is true. That is true. Motion controls, man. They just go away.
Well, there's some places where it does work. Like, okay, if you put like an exercise game together, I remember one game I played a lot of, like in the Wii. It was like kind of like my workout supplement was Gold's Gym cardio boxing. So like you get both Wiimotes together and you're doing air boxing, whatever. That's cool. But like in my Zelda game, and you want me to play this game for 40 hours because that's how long the game is, get out of here with that.
Yeah.
Hey.
Awful.
I'm sorry, David. I'm sorry, Galatrad, but you're wrong.
Not sorry.
You're wrong. You are wrong. Give me the joystick any day with that. So.
Gosh, am I glad that motion controls are over?
Yeah. Right. No kidding. So.
Ed, what are you playing?
Been playing Street Fighter Alpha 3, and Street Fighter Third Strike. Kind of just been practicing back my Street Fighter skills. Like,
that makes sense.
Getting back into those games, because they, Street Fighter, like one of my favorite fighting games, and it's been so long since I've been able to just dive in and play that series, and like be able to see how good I am or how rusty I am with certain characters. So I've been doing that. I've been like really enjoying it, having a good time. Played a little bit more God of War on PS4 just for fun. Getting to do that. I'm about to jump into Detroit Become Human because I want to finish that game so I can talk about it. I got Skyward Sword, but haven't been able to play it yet due to me being out for the weekend.
It's on a Switch. And, it's on a portable console, Ed. You could have just played it.
Interacting. I've been interacting and having fun and talking to everybody, so I haven't had no time.
You don't want to do that.
Well, what was it? What was it you and Jesse played? You had the Switch on the kickstand. You guys were playing something.
Streets of Rage 4.
Streets of Rage 4. That was it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So we were playing that for a bit, having a little bit of fun. And since Switch don't have them Mr. X Nightmare DLC, still gotta wait for that. We couldn't play any of that, but I think I got the free update, but I just haven't got the new DLC until they release it, and we don't know when they're gonna do that. And yeah, Crosscode is pretty much what I've been playing on Switch. Like I said, I've been going to get into Skyward Sword a little bit later, but that's pretty much it. I got Scarlet Nexus and Outriders, and I need to play that on my Series X. And Fable, I purchased Fable 3 from the convention, and can't wait to start that start that up because I never got the chance to play Fable 3 or Fable 2. I have Fable 2 digitally on my Xbox One, but 3 I never bought. 3 I didn't get, so I'm like $5, not a bad price.
Neat.
Oh, and also played Streets of Rage 2. They had it in an arcade cabinet at the convention.
There it is.
Which is weird because they had it. I think it was running through a 32X because the music was cutting out at certain times. Like they put the music like in a stereo kind of sound, so it did sound better. But it was like it felt like it was a Sega CD game because it was cutting off, and then they would cut back on. I'm like, they never did this in the whole game. Only time that they faded out is when the boss music came out. So I don't know what they did to make it feel like that. But yeah, that's pretty much what's been in my arsenal.
Nice.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know any other taglines from Street Fighter Alpha, but that's about it.
I can't tell what Ed's doing because his video is frozen. He's just sitting there like
looking menacing.
No.
Yeah, he looks like he's concentrating or falling asleep or something. So
tap your screen, Eddie. Well, what's in your arsenal, Corey?
I've been playing a little bit of Halo and Destiny. Really, it's kind of in it on the Xbox front. I've been focusing a lot more on Nintendo stuff lately because of Monster Hunter Stories 2 and Zelda came out, and I've been just trucking along in those. So I don't really have much more to add to Zelda other than I'm enjoying it. No motion controls makes that game infinitely better. And
yep.
I mean, Stoy, I think I'm with you. I think it, like, out of the before Breath of the Wild, like the classic Zelda formula stuff, it probably has the best story out of that classic style, but like those motion controls were what ruined it for me, and I never finished it.
That's why a lot of people didn't play it.
Yeah.
You know, when I talk to people, I'm like, oh, this is honestly, it's one of the best Zelda games, especially from a storyline standpoint, and the music is just fantastic. It's some of the best in the series, but like so many people I knew like never played it, which kind of was shocking to me, but that's the reason why. Like, it's a 40-hour game. No one wants to waggle for 40 hours.
Yeah. Which is weird because people they wanted a game like this in Zelda and like Star Wars and stuff like that.
At the beginning of the Wii's life cycle, but when the system's out for 6 years and everybody's tired of motion controls, then you put out the quintessential motion control game. It's kind of like, this is what Twilight Princess should have been, you know? Which I'm glad that game wasn't either, but, you know.
Yeah.
You can actually turn the motion controls off in that game on the Wii, which was super helpful. But man, here we go again. Ed, this is your fault. Power Block 2.0.
Oh wait, what?
No. But I'm really enjoying my time with Halo, and Destiny is just, you know, Destiny. It's the grind and just doing my dailies and Pinnacle stuff and doing the bounties, and that's kind of it. So, all right. So let's get into the Arsa news, as we say. We gotta come up with something better than Arsa news.
Yeah, I was gonna say we gotta come up with something better than this. Come on, man.
I mean, that's just what we always called it, but we got to do something better.
Newsinal X. No.
I mean, when we talk about food, we should just call it Arsenal Snacks.
Arsenal Snacks,
or
with an X.
Or Arson Snacks?
Arsa Snacks.
Snacks and all X? I don't know. Arsenal Snacks. So, yeah, that Valve Steam Deck seems to be what everybody wants to be talking about these days.
Good googity boogity.
Oh, boy.
But the thing about this thing is that you can install Windows on it, and this actually has me thinking about what if Xbox did their own handheld, or they use this to make Game Pass more viable option for portable players.
Well, that's the thing about it, because if you can install Windows on it, you can run Windows programs. You could download the Xbox app, for Windows, and you can, fire up your Game Pass subscription on it, and you can play Game Pass games on the Steam Deck.
Yeah, locally.
You can also,
you don't even have to stream them. You can just download them and play them.
Yeah, exactly.
So the thing with that would be like, well, that's part of their marketing of the Surface tablet.
Yeah, but nobody wants to play. If you can play it, let me ask you this, Ed: if you could play your games on a tablet with a Bluetooth controller hooked up to it, or a Switch-like device, what would you rather be playing on? Trying to find a way to hold that tablet up, or just to play it in your hands like a Switch?
Well, there'll probably be a stand.
No, I'm asking you what you would
you're
do.
talking about
I'm asking you what you would rather be playing on.
I mean, I'm going to play on something like a Switch or something. But I'm just saying Microsoft is probably thinking that, when it was marketing the Surface tablet, they was always including Game Pass. And this is Microsoft we're speaking of. Microsoft is going to first market their product before they do anything else.
Yeah, no, I know that. I'm just saying, like, this could be like a backdoor kind of, oh, well, let's say the Steam Deck is super successful. Let's say it sells like, I don't know, in the next 2 years or something, let's say it sells like 30 million units. Let's just put that number out there. And people start playing with it because this seems like a device that maybe like people want to open up and see what it can do outside of just the Steam OS. Let's just say 40% of these people install Windows onto it. Right? That's like 17 million people put Windows on this device, and 10 million of them have now will buy Game Pass because they can play it portably instead of having to hook it up to their phone or their tablet or a laptop, right?
Yeah.
I feel like this is actually like a good thing for Microsoft, and maybe they're kicking themselves for not having a Game Pass dedicated device. Like
I don't think they're kicking themselves at all, because this is their competitor doing the work for them.
It's not even their competitor. The thing about this, they've been working with Steam. Microsoft been putting some of their first party games and stuff on Steam.
True, yeah.
On Steam. So
so taking that word competitor out, this is best case scenario for them, because they did none of the hardware development and they spent no money on this system.
That's true.
And it's basically Valve just making a system for them.
Yeah.
For them to play games in a back alley way. Like, obviously, it's not like you're going to have directions on how to do it right away. You're going to have to like kind of Google it and search the internet for instructions on how to, install Windows on this thing. But the fact that you have the capability, and anybody has the capability, is great for Microsoft.
Yeah.
Well, I think with Microsoft is it just their first party games? Because with Game Pass,
anything on Game Pass.
Yeah.
The thing with Game Pass is, okay, so the Game Pass stuff, I probably would say with the regular Xbox and 360 stuff, yes.
Well, it's gonna be whatever's available on Game Pass for PC though. Yeah. It's not gonna be
it's not gonna be the
Xbox version. It's gonna be the PC version. So all the 360 stuff probably not on there, although they are starting to creep older stuff on there, like Psychonauts is on there now, I think, and a couple other things. But
so should we say the console Game Pass that they hooking up onto it?
I mean, you're not going to be we're talking about PC Game Pass. This is going to be PC Game Pass.
No,
okay.
Unless you found a way to install the Microsoft Xbox OS on it.
And that was I guess that was what I'm thinking of, because if y'all talking about getting Windows and stuff on it and mentioning Game Pass, are you trying to get the console games on it? Because
Windows 11 is going to have an entire Xbox UI system on there, right? Like that Xbox operating system is going to be built into Windows 11, supposedly, or a version of it. So
yeah,
but I still think they won't be releasing games for the system,
right?
Because obviously, when every month when they update their Game Pass library, they update some that are available for the console and for the cloud and for the PC.
Right.
Yeah. So for the PC. Yeah. I think. Yeah. So I guess I was confused with myself, because that's what I was trying to get.
Poor Eddie.
No, I was wondering when
Eddie.
When everybody was just like, well, we want to get Game Pass on there. I think because there's two versions of it.
Well, there's three now.
There's three.
There's 3 now.
There's the cloud.
Yeah, the cloud
a lot of
version
people
is
forget
different.
about.
Yeah.
So I thought is xCloud all of them, all of it together,
No,
or is it?
No, it's its own separate
it's just
thing. Like the Xbox has its version of Game Pass, PC has its own version, and cloud has its own version. There's a lot of crossover, but essentially they're 3 separate Game Pass.
Listen, Eddie, you come on the Xbox podcast and you know nothing about Game Pass. Come on, Eddie.
He doesn't know about Game Pass because he's the only person in the world that has an Xbox and doesn't subscribe to it.
Because Game Pass,
Eddie, come on, man.
Game Pass Ultimate is the only one that has the xCloud. That's the only feature that you can get that on. You can't do the regular Game Pass.
Oh, you have to have Ultimate to do it.
Right.
Game Pass Ultimate gets you all 3 versions of Game Pass.
Right. So that's why. So that's because if you did PC, that's why I said I thought xCloud was just an additional feature only connected to Ultimate, which gives you PC and console. So I kept that separate.
Yeah.
I didn't think that would be the third parts of it.
I couldn't believe it when Microsoft announced, Game Pass Ultimate, when they basically lumped games with gold and the PC Game Pass service onto that service. I mean, it's like I said, it really pays for itself.
And
$15 a month
at that point too.
Yeah, and EA Play. When EA Play jumped on too, it was like it just made it all the more great. So $15 a month. I mean, it's just kind of like it pays for itself if you play a lot of games.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's cheaper than 3 full price games now because if games are $70, right? It's $180 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think my fear is just that Steam themselves, how long would they support this and everything?
What do you mean? They said they're leaving it open because they want people to play with it. They want they want to sell the device. Steam is always going to be there, right? People, as long as Steam is a service, people are going to buy their games on Steam, right? If they leave it open, that's their best chance of competing against probably the Switch at this point, which is what everybody's comparing it to. Leaving it as an open platform device is their best chance of selling this device, which is exactly what they want to do.
So I'm probably thinking support as in marketing, support in getting the system. I think after it's released,
they pretty much did a fantastic job of marketing it that day because that's when the OLED Switch pre-orders were going live. Nintendo announced it, 2 hours later? Valve's like, oh, here's our new thing. You can save your place in line for $5.
Yeah, but they haven't marketed their Steam system or their Steam controller and stuff after it's
because that Steam controller was terrible.
Steam controller was terrible. The Steam boxes were like second party partnerships. They didn't even make them. They had other people make them for them. So this is gonna be kind of like their VR headset, where like, hey, we're actually funding this. We're actually putting effort into this, and we want people to enjoy it. And my thing is like, this is the first iteration on this thing. What's this thing going to look like in 2 years when they iterate on it?
If they iterate on it.
That's my problem. Is that when you look at the specs, and we know how PC hardware can be, because you're not going to play Cyberpunk 2077 with the best quality graphics, and maybe that's not why you get something like this. Like, you want to play Cyberpunk on a system, but play it with just some basic, 16 gigs of RAM, and you're not even playing it in high def. It's 12080 by 800, resolution. So it's like, okay, that's you're not seeing it in crystal clear quality like you would on just even like a standard display.
The Switch resolution is the same as this.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure.
Plus the big caveat to this thing right now too is like, your multiplayer games aren't going to work on here because of the anti-cheat stuff. So anything that has competitive multiplayer at all on here, you're not going to be able to play. Apex Legends, Destiny, Halo, anything like that, you are not going to be able to play on this device.
And that's what and that's why this whole thing, the Steam Deck, confuses the hell out of me. Why they would make something like this if it's not player friendly.
Because all you could do is play like single player campaign stuff.
It seems like that.
Okay, so you download The Witcher 3, right, for the PC. That's at least 35-40 gigs. So if you've bought the base model of this, which is 64 gigs, you've already taken up half your space. You know,
and they're thinking of everybody who's throwing in a micro SD card, so that's
right.
What
Yeah.
But
admittedly, you want to take advantage of the solid state drive, you know, that's coupled with this system. But
I think that's when me and LaRon was talking earlier about this. I'm kind of just talking about most Steam players, if they are doing gaming like that, they take their laptops and stuff to if they're playing games on Steam instead of. There's something about this. There are going to be people who's going to buy it and everything and enjoy it for what it is. But I'm like, you're not going to be seeing people take this stuff to esports, or you're not going to see them taking this to play some other games that may be at a tournament level, or if they don't got a Switch, they're going to be carrying their laptop and stuff and playing games on there. And I know LaRon said that a good laptop is going to cost you some money, and this is a cheaper alternative. But I'm just like, if there's a way to play Diablo 3 or something, or World of Warcraft with friends or whatever, and it's through Steam, well, that's probably bad examples, or whatever multiplayer game through Steam, like you said, Story, if this is capping you, you know, why would you get the system if you could just easily do it on your PC?
I mean, the nice thing about this is, you know, going through the Steam library, there's tons of games that, you know, you can get that aren't so hardware intensive, needing, you know, crazy hardware to see ultra high definition graphics. So there's a lot of kind of you know, even like shovelware titles that it's like, okay, that take up maybe like 2 gigs of space or something like that, and you can use every bit of space that you have. But, you know, is this going to be, you know, a game where you're going to download, you know, these massive AAA games? Probably not.
I still think this thing is going to get the most use out of people who want to break it open and put Windows on it, or, you know, turn it into some emulation machine modders, or something. Modders. Yeah, these modders are the ones that are going to get the most use out of this. You know, I don't know. I feel like, man, I would love to play some Halo campaigns on the go, but if you're telling me this anti-cheat stuff isn't going to work on this thing, then that would just eliminate all, like, even if you just want to play the single player stuff from those games.
Yeah. So, but I mean, and even just like the price point of it, it's just like, even just getting I think it's like $650 for the biggest one. Yeah. The 512 or 525 gig, whatever.
Let me find the price on here.
Yeah. It's even more. $650 for 512 gigabytes.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, it's got an SSD in it, which is nice, but
well, that's what you're paying for.
Yeah.
The SSD is literally the most expensive thing in that hardware. So,
I think I want to see what indies say, because that's going to be
but you're not going to buy this thing. You're not going to buy this thing for indies. Like, you might as well just get a Switch for that. I mean, I get it.
Honestly, though, Eddie's right. Honestly, this is all you can play on this.
Yeah.
Is the indie titles.
Yeah.
So this is good for the indies, actually.
I know there's been a lot of reports that indie developers haven't been making much money on Steam. They've been making more on Switch. So if this is a good way to...
The only time people buy indie games on Steam is when they go down to like 99 cents, and then Switch is always more than like $5, $10.
Yep.
Yeah. So I kind of want to see what the indie... Yeah, I just want to see what the indie scene says about... the system. I know there's going to be people I know there's a lot of people who are happy that they'll be able to take their Steam library on the go, and you don't have to, I wonder about the Wi-Fi connection if you are on the go. Is it just the games that you have to save to that hard drive in order to play it?
I mean, I think you probably only have to connect once a week to your Steam library, probably, I'm sure.
Before you have to re-log in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the same as like the Nintendo stuff. If you have more than one console, right? Like, I mean, you just log in. You know, they check your digital stuff once every 48 hours, I think, and you'll be good to go. So the one nice thing I also read too about this is that Valve made it kind of very hard for people who are reserving this system, because reserves are live now, and all you need to do is put down like $5 for it. But
they actually are putting a block on new accounts from reserving the system. So like if you just make an account the day of just to reserve the title so you can go later, like they actually block you to say your account's too new. You'll be available to reserve it like in a week or two or something like that.
Yeah, so, you have to buy a game in June or had to make a new purchase in June in order to do it. So they
just
said
to prevent bots and like other people that just make fake accounts,
the scalpers and stuff.
Yeah,
will it work? It depends on how many pre-orders. If Valve's going to announce how many good pre-orders
the thing is though is if this thing even like isn't as big of a success as they want it to be, this is just going to be a write-off for them anyway, right? Like I mean, Valve makes so much money every day that like they can take chances like this, and we're like, you know what, didn't work out, it's fine. I'm just gonna.
They're a platform. They're not just a company. They are literally a platform.
Yeah. Well, this is the first platform that they've made.
Yeah.
They've never made a system before. There was for years there was talk about a Valve box where they were going to make a dedicated Stream Deck, or like Steam Deck, where that was supposed to be like the system. But I think that just throughout all their hardware changes, they probably just fell to the wayside. But this is what they have now. So
yeah, and I mean, a lot of people are like, "Well, this is going to kill the Switch," and I'm like,
"No, it's not." No.
I mean, if you just even look at Switch's pre-orders for the OLED, when people said they weren't going to try to buy it, like,
I mean, that thing sold out in like 20 minutes, right? I mean,
right.
A couple pop-ups here and there, right? But like, I don't know. I mean, I saw some Best Buy still had neon colors today that popped up again, but I don't know. I just feel like.
I mean, I'm passing on this. I have a laptop that I could play really good Steam games on.
And
I would not use this at all, and I'm not gonna drop $500 on something that's just gonna collect dust.
I mean, I get the people who only play PC games and might want to play them on the go and not have like a laptop or whatever. This could service that itch a little bit, but I'm not going to get it to hack my GamePass subscription onto it. I have a phone with an extra Xbox controller I can play on, or, it's just, I'm not interested because I don't have a big Steam library, right? I think I have like 4 games on Steam, right? And it's two different versions of Roller Coaster Tycoon, Tomb Raider because they gave it out for free, and Planet Coaster and Destiny are like the 5 games I think I have on Steam, and that's...
And this thing's coming out in December. Like, everybody's gonna be, if Sony and Microsoft could get more systems and games out, all the holiday purchases are gonna be on the console stuff. Like, who's gonna really be spending time when they get? Like you guys said, I think modders are gonna have fun with it, and what they'll do is they'll mod it and probably resell it for a higher price.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how probably in the next probably a month or two after it comes out, we'll see how it, how Xbox games run on it at that point. But we're gonna move on to our next topic here. The Coalition has shared some impressive screenshots from their Unreal Engine 5 project that they are going to show off at GDC. What is it, next week, I think? So pretty impressive stuff. It's very brown. It kind of reminds me of like those old Gears games where it's like, oh, let's use various shades of brown, but still super impressive. Really, kind of reminds me of the tech demo that they showed off earlier on the PlayStation 5 stuff. So what do you guys think of these screenshots? I mean, I know they're just screenshots, but they are.
Well, I think I remember Unreal did a Unreal 5 reveal of the engine where it was like, it kind of looked like a Tomb Raider demo, so to speak, and they just showed a lot of the weather and the detail effects, even just like talking about like traversing the walls and stuff like that, as climbing, and even just like weather effects and how the sun can really, like, the sun's rays like give it like a whole slew of like new features or whatever. I know I'm not using my words right, but some of the, video games are now starting to kind of like toe that line between like, okay, is this really real?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's really starting to toe that line, and Unreal 5 is, man, it's going to be massive once the they start kind of putting out some of their games, because I know the Coalition's working on a few games.
Yeah, they're working on a rumored project that's supposed to be smaller in scale. Like, I guess it's supposed to be like a $40 budget title, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously Game Pass day one, but and then Gear 6 probably after that. So I know that
they're hiring for a ton of positions.
Yeah. Plus I know they've been working on a ton on trying to get Halo out the door as well. With 343, but
they've been helping them out.
Yeah, it's like all hands on deck to get Halo out. There's like 10 studios working on Halo right now. I think Playground is actually helping on Halo now.
Oh boy,
it's like all hands on deck for Halo right now.
Oh wow.
I'm excited to see what the Coalition can do outside of Gears. I remember when Microsoft first bought the Coalition, it was Black Tusk at the time, and they were working on a third-person heist game called Shanghai, which was kind of like a modern day Die Hard type game, I guess, where you're kind of going through this building and trying to solve the mystery of the building and seeing what's happening inside and whatever. And then when they turned in the Coalition, they obviously took on Gears, and Rod Ferguson came back and everything. So I think this looks impressive. Like, I know they're just screenshots, but it looks amazing. I know even movies and TV are using Unreal Engine 5 now for their effects. I know The Mandalorian used Unreal Engine for their set design.
Oh wow.
So I'm excited. What do you want them to be working on? What do you want this game to be? Like, I hope it's not just like a cover-based shooter. You know? I mean, I get that's what they're good at, but if they're going to do that, they might as well just make Gear 6 at this point. I want something.
Well, I mean, I assume Gear 6 is being made with Unreal 5.
Yeah.
I assume at this point. Which if that's true, that leads me to believe we're at least 3 years away from the next Gears game.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I guess the big thing I want to know is how user friendly the engine is, because I think that's always been the barrier with, engines like, I think Unreal 3 initially when that came out was ridiculously hard to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And Unreal 4 when that came out, I think that was like super user friendly, and like indie developers started to use it. So I'm hoping it's user friendly enough that we can actually churn out some good games right away. But I mean, I would love to see a third person game kind of like in the vein of like a Tomb Raider, or an Uncharted like game. That'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would love to see something like that, because I mean, Xbox doesn't really have that at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they had Shadow of the Tomb Raider exclusive for like a year, which was cool, but I really think they need kind of like their own Uncharted thing. Oh, I guess we got Indiana Jones coming.
Yeah,
that's something.
Maybe. Oh, well, I was gonna say maybe they're helping with that, but I mean, that game. Side tangent. That game has me so interested because like Wolfenstein is not. It's not Uncharted or Tomb Raider. It's more, Doom than anything. It's just like fast paced. Got to move around, shoot your guns all the time. It's not like I wonder if Machine Games can like really pull that off, because like Indiana Jones has to be third person, right? We're not.
Yeah.
We're not like. We're all on the same page with that, right? Like, it has to be a third-person action adventure. Let's climb these,
Well, it's got to be melee combat. I mean, you're going to have your shooting segments, and I imagine there's going to be some like kind of like cover-based mechanics with it. But I mean, watching any Indiana Jones movie, 9 times out of 10, he's taking someone in hand-to-hand combat. So
yeah, except for that one scene in Raiders where he like the guy's doing this with the sword, and he just pulls his pistol and just shoots him.
Well, I mean. You heard the story with that scene, right?
Yeah, he was like really sick that day.
He was really sick that day, and that was supposed to be a big like combat scene, but they were like, "Well, why don't we just have you pull out your gun and shoot him?
Yeah,
and then we can wrap up shooting for the day." So he's like, "All right, cool, I can do that."
Gosh, how good is Indiana Jones, by the way, guys?
With the exception of Crystal Skull, oh man,
it's better than Temple of Doom.
What?
Yeah.
Corey?
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is totally a watchable movie.
Corey? Never mind. I'm not gonna go into it. No. Not here.
I
mean, admittedly, it wasn't the worst movie. I mean, it wasn't bad. I understood what they were trying to do with it. I understood what they were trying to accomplish with the movie, with the writing and the story and everything like that. I just didn't. I mean, maybe Shia LaBeouf really rubbed me the wrong way, but
I'm intrigued and worried about this new one because Harrison Ford is 78 years old and he's going to go play Indiana Jones in the 70s now. The Soviets, I guess. Mads Mikkelsen is the villain, I think. So
yeah.
They just added somebody to the cast too. I forget who they added very recently, but we'll see, I guess. Anyways,
so I guess what do you guys want with your Unreal 5 engine?
I just want it to be a good, fun, intriguing game. I want to see what else they can do, right? I mean, we know they're good at third-person action games. I wouldn't mind if it's that, but I don't want it to be like a cover-based shooter, right? Like I'm with you, Stoy. I want it to be a third-person Tomb Raider-esque game where maybe there's shooting segments, which we know the shooting will be good, but like I want to solve puzzles, I want to explore environments, I want to find collectibles, that kind of thing, right? That's what I want it to be. As long as we get a good one of those, right? Like I don't need like a Last of Us style dire story out of them, right? I just want something that's fun and colorful and uses the tech in a really meaningful way, and I think it'll be good. You know, I trust the Coalition, right? They've given us 3 great games so far, and
they've got tons of people working for them and tons of teams working on like I think 2 or 3 projects. So yeah.
I mean 4 technically if you count Gears Tactics, even though I know Splash Damage did most of that, but they oversaw it and felt like Gears. So yeah. Ed, what about you?
I think this is it looks like their take on Recore. I think they're doing a sequel to Recore.
Ew, gross.
What?
5. I'm just the
2 people on this planet liked that game.
And one of them is here.
It has a Recore vibe to it with the way that
you
it
mean
looks
the brown rocks?
I mean, even with that little thing that's in it, that little floating sci-fi, because it's gonna be a sci-fi kind of game, a mystical kind of game. So I'm thinking at this point in time, like not a reboot to Recore, but I think it's going to be maybe a spiritual successor to it or something like that. But it's going to be done in their way. It's and they'll probably be like, okay, we tried that game with this developer, but it didn't work, so we gave it to the Coalition. They renamed it. They just redid the thing. Of course, it's going to have shooting elements and to it because this Microsoft and the Coalition, they can't do melee battle or anything like that. I just have a feeling that it's going to be something kind of connected to Recore or Recore 2 or something like that. I kind of do want to see what they're going to do with Unreal Engine 5, because this is looking mostly almost close to what their tech demo was when they showed it off for PS5. When they first announced it. It has that kind of look to it. So I don't know if the Coalition is borrowing that same idea, but like I said, probably making it to like Recore or something like that. So we'll see.
I mean, I could see a Recore-like game, one of like exploration and stuff like that, maybe like an RPG type of thing. I guess I dream about kind of hearing about the difficulties a lot of EA studios had working with Frostbite, the Frostbite engine. So like say, for example, Dragon Age Inquisition, hearing all the horror stories that they went through just working with Frostbite to get it to work for a pen and paper RPG game. And imagine if they had like the tools that Unreal 5 had, where basically is like, well, you want to make an RPG? Yeah, our engine can handle that, because Frostbite was made for just racing and first-person shooter titles.
Yeah.
Well, Frostbite was made because of DICE making it, and they always
they made that exclusively for Battlefield.
And Oh, I was just gonna say it felt like Dice didn't teach everybody in
Well, no,
EA to use it. So
no.
and EA kind of my idea is that EA is just like you use this engine and you learn it and turn out a game.
Yeah.
It's it's like Dragon Age, they had a bunch of issues with it, and then you saw obviously what happened to Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem, right? I mean, they both use Frostbite, and it's like this, like you said, and like there's been, I don't know if you guys follow like the EA Sports scenes or anything, but like every year there's some new issue with Frostbite because they use them for their sports games, and that's why they can only update one or two new features every year, is because like Frostbite just sucks at updating things unless you're like doing a first-person shooter.
That's
which is crazy, and that's what I heard. EA is like not doing a great job of like really showcasing and showing developers how to really develop this type of thing or that type of thing. Like it's just crazy to me that EA just locks it in for everybody.
Yeah, well, and I wonder if that's I wonder if that's changed in the last couple of years because of companies like Respawn using Unreal and Source and all these other things, right? Because like they don't want to use it, and obviously those are the games that are having the most success outside of the sports games, right? So like,
yeah.
Well, that's the thing with Respawn. They told EA that they weren't going to use it, or they was just like, "Yeah, we're using the old Source engine, and this was we could put out." And I kind of feel like with BioWare, I think BioWare probably was just like, look, we cannot use this engine for our games because this is the quality that's turning out.
I really hope that's true. I want that to be true so much because with Dragon Age 4 and Mass Effect 4 like working on it, I hope they basically stuck to their guns to say, listen, you obviously, I mean, Dragon Age Inquisition was an exception because that was a huge success for BioWare. But with Mass Effect Andromeda and even Anthem, like I said, I hope they really change their tune.
EA's gonna have to let them. EA's gonna have to pay that license for Unreal, and they can't help it. If you want some great games to come out from BioWare for people to buy, you gotta let them use that.
I mean, they gotta bite the bullet.
They have it's EA, right? It's not like there's some indie team that can't afford it, right? Like they can,
right?
Just, I mean, that's why Mass Effect, the original trilogy, was made on Unreal, and that's why like they said they had such a hard time moving some of the assets that they needed from that original trilogy over, because Frostbite is very unwelcoming of other assets, and it's like, well, clearly,
so it's to save money.
Yeah, and they're like, well, we want to be able to use, like, if you make it, this was like their big pitch. If you want to use a helicopter in this game, you can easily just import that asset into another game and use it there. I'm like, where the hell is a helicopter in Dragon Age, right? Like,
right? Yeah, okay. Yeah. No one's using M16 rifles in Dragon Age.
Right.
Yeah. But we'll see. I think we'll see something very creative from the Coalition. Because they were people who came from Epic Games and kind of know the Unreal Engine. So they probably been, I think they've probably been prototyping stuff for maybe 6 to 8 months. And then, what they see, what they could do with it, I think they got together. Because what I can't believe GDC is next month or next week.
It's next week. Yeah.
I didn't even know they was having one this year. I thought it was canceled because
I think it's a digital event, right? Again this year.
Again.
So
yeah, 'cause I know it's mostly like in March, so that's why I'm shocked that they're doing it this month.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'm excited. The Coalition is, I mean, Gears is my favorite Xbox franchise, so I'm always excited when the Coalition will show something. All right, guys. Our main topic tonight is obviously Game Pass is a huge success, and the rumor is that PlayStation might be partnering with Netflix to do some sort of game streaming thing. I kind of just wanted to talk about, do you think that's going to impact Game Pass at all? Do you think Sony is smart for allegedly partnering with Netflix? Do you think if Netflix is getting into the gaming stuff and they don't partner with PlayStation, like, is that a bad move for them?
So, I mean, this is where I want to know, like, obviously, I guess as we talk more about it, I guess what's in it for Sony here by partnering with Netflix?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you want the gaming stuff, I feel like Netflix is going to charge more, right? And that money's going to go pretty much directly to Sony, I'm assuming. We know Netflix has experimented in games, right? They have that Dark Crystal Tactics game. They have the Stranger Things game. I think they have a couple other things that, I don't really care about because it's Netflix games. But
my question is, they're developing games? Like they're actually creating a Netflix developer to make games?
I don't know. They've been partnering with small indie studios to make their games, so I don't know. I'm going to look it up real quick.
Well, because this is the thing, because all this rumor happened because of a placeholder that Sony that someone found, I think, when they data mined the Netflix code or something like that. And because that's what led me to believe, like, why would Netflix partner with Sony if all of a sudden, like the week before, Netflix announced they're going into gaming and they're going to have games on their streaming platform?
Yeah, why wouldn't they have announced it then?
Yeah, exactly.
Or like
the only thing I could see them partnering with Sony is maybe offering some Sony first party titles, like, here, you can stream Ratchet and Clank on Netflix, you can stream this on Netflix. I mean, I don't think Sony's going to get into the streaming game, with someone else.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's because if this was to happen, Sony's been making business moves.
Well,
in a sense,
what they could do though.
They signed a movie deal with Netflix just recently, a few months ago.
Yeah, but Sony could also could package PlayStation Now with a Netflix subscription.
I mean, yeah, they can, but it's looking at past Sony business moves, like with them and Evo, with them now just getting more into PC gaming and stuff. It feels like they're trying to get around the stuff that Microsoft is not doing.
All right.
So they can still be seen and look like they are making big moves without, I guess, stepping on Microsoft's toes or anything.
Well, okay, let's
Sony's going about it the wrong way if that's what they're doing.
Yeah, let's kind of reset here. So, what does Netflix benefit from for entering the game side of things? I mean, we already know they're successful in the TV show and movie stuff, right? For the most part. What is in it for them for games? Because they tried this before, right? Like about 10 years ago, they tried a games thing. I forget. It started with a Q. I forget what it was called. But they scrapped the idea, and now they're obviously revisiting it under Netflix games. What's the benefit of them getting into this where we see Google kind of stumbling, we see Amazon kind of stumbling, PlayStation kind of half-assing PlayStation Now, right? The only team that really seems to be taking it seriously is Microsoft, right? Like,
Netflix has the biggest streaming platform to date right now. Like, it's bigger than Disney, so they're trying to tap into that already there market. Now, as far as what I've heard, is that they don't plan on changing the subscription service anymore because they want to bring in new subscribers. So, like, if you find out, you could just go back to paying what you paid a month before, not only are you getting all the TV shows and movies, now you're getting all these games with it. So that's where the only thing I could see is maybe Sony has another platform to put some games on. But
weren't they doing like games through Netflix service, like I guess almost like a choose your own adventure kind of style game?
They've experimented in that, right? They had
with Black Mirror and I think a couple other movies,
and then they
had that Minecraft story mode on there too, I think.
Right. So they got stuff like Stranger Things, I think, I have a game.
Stranger Things has a game. Like what's the other one that has a game? Dark Crystal has that tactics game.
So I think with them, they're trying to expand into this medium because they think that, or assumption, I should more say assume that they could get into this market easier because people already know what these franchises are. So it's the movie tie-in kind of game, but done in a different way. It's the TV tie-in, the TV tie-in with them. So if they can make their own animes, if they can make their own TV shows or even kid shows, maybe they can get it out on like some PCs and consoles and mobile and stuff. And we seen that they are taking this gaming thing serious. For them, to them it's business. So that they could lose on games as long as they get the subscribers to them. For them. Now,
well, I see it as a companion. They can create companion apps. So like you watch a TV show and you want more content from Black Mirror. Well, all right, you got this companion game that could be maybe a choose your own adventure type. It could be a narrative driven kind of maybe walking simulator like game or whatever. Or maybe it's a third person action game, or maybe it's a side scrolling, beat 'em up style game or whatever. So, I mean, that's where I see them going, because obviously Stranger Things was somewhat successful, but imagine if Netflix had that on their own platform. They would stand to benefit, like you said, they're a business. They would stand to benefit making more money off of that instead of shipping it to other consoles and, paying those royalty fees. So,
plus, like, I wonder if it could, like you said, like a companion piece, but also be like a season in between seasons of the show too, right? Like if you want more depth on the characters, if you want more story, I don't know, if you want that kind of thing, like you could definitely do that with games too. I mean, games do that all the time anyway. That could be interesting.
They could kind of kill two birds with one stone. Like they could do a TV show with an FMV game where maybe like what you said, Corey, like they do the 10 episode series, and then while it's before hopefully it don't get canceled, they got a 10 episode where you can actually play the game and stuff, and it's quick time events or
kind of like what I said already.
But
I think done in a way that they're dropping it every month. Like you get one game.
Oh, you want like you think they're gonna go the Telltale model, but like for Netflix almost like
you get. I mean, because they're filming the actual season of that TV show, but also filming the game.
I mean, so once you could use that for like cutscenes and stuff in your game, but I don't see them doing like a FMV like Night Trap situation.
I think they probably could. Or
Where's
something.
the Netflix Night Trap show, by the way? Where's that?
Yeah, I'm still waiting.
I mean, like at this point in time, why not? Because the one what is that woman? She's in the police station telling her story. That stuff like that has been popular with a lot of people. And that's kind of the way that FMV came back into gaming in this modern day. So maybe Netflix is looking at that and could be using that idea for a lot of their games.
Yeah,
maybe it's the crisscross Sega CD games that you make my video kind of stuff. Maybe they could be doing stuff like that. Like,
well, and like we said, Netflix has already kind of experimented with that. So. Yeah. With some of their shows now, the choose your own adventure types. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're not games per se. It's just basically you're watching something and then you're just hitting a button on a remote to like, go left or go right. But I think one of the Final Destinations did that, right? A long time ago.
I think so.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's where you have to, I guess, kind of find out like what they mean by game deals. Like, are they going to be making, kind of experiences like that, or are they going to be making like full-fledged games, kind of like how they Stranger Things?
You got to think it's got to be a mass market appeal thing, right? Like you're not going to get hardcore RPG on there like The Witcher or anything, right? You're gonna get like a mass appeal, like, oh, families are going to sit down and watch this, kids to teen show, and like, oh, maybe we'll play through a couple episodes of this because it appeals to the family, and instead of busting out Monopoly, we're gonna play a Netflix thing or whatever. You're not gonna get The Witcher, you're not gonna get God of War, you're not gonna get Halo, right? Like you can't do that on this service, right? Like their approach to game is gonna be more almost like that Intellivision Amico thing that came out or is coming out, right? Like that's kind of where I see it, is like games designed for families, maybe trivia games, maybe visual board games, maybe like Stoy already said, like the interactive things.
I wonder, will there be hard copies, like physical copies of their games, or are they just going to keep it digital? I mean, to put it on
it's probably just part of the
digital.
It's probably just part of the subscription service, but they do sell physical copies of their shows, right? Like I know Stranger Things has physical. I mean,
well, yeah, but on DVD or Blu-rays.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like the game side of things is strictly this is part of your subscription. We're not going to sell it physically, right? So unless someone like Limited Run did a deal with them and were like, oh, well, here's the physical copy of your Netflix game. But I don't know. I feel like this is a really weird thing for them to be getting into right now.
Yeah, and I honestly don't think I'm not thinking much into this. The only thing I can think of is this is a tie-in to the movie deal that they signed.
Yeah.
Like earlier this year. That's about it.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to be seeing Sony games on the service at all. I think
either.
Netflix is going to go completely proprietary. I don't think Netflix is linking an exclusive publishing deal. Like I said, I just think people are reading into this a little too much.
I do too.
Well, I think people just kind of wonder,
because it wasn't
this be successful.
Because it wasn't PlayStation that they found, right? It was Sony that they found in the data mine, right?
Yeah. It was Sony, and then a picture of what looked like a PlayStation 5 controller.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like...
Wow. My God. The internet goes crazy now.
I mean, you can hook... Like, my smart TV has Bluetooth functionality. I can hook my Xbox controller up to it, right? So, like... I don't know. They did hire Mike Verdu, who was a vice president of game development over at Facebook Reality Labs, and he was a vice president of mobile over at Electronic Arts, so... And
Zynga too.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like
there's an article about it on BossRushGames.com.
There is. You should go. Should I read it, Stoy?
No.
Oh.
Yes.
I was going to, but now that you said no.
All right.
Well,
except now
I'll read it.
Now I can't find it. So.
Quick question: do you think Netflix is going to do anything VR related?
Nope.
No. If they were going to do that, they would have done it already, I think.
Yeah.
Plus, like, who are they going to partner with? You know, like, they're not going to make their own headsets. Like,
no, I'm
the
talking
phone
about
stuff kind of sucks.
No,
definitely not games.
For VR. No, definitely not.
No. This is a thing that I feel like you're going to be actually going to be able to use your phone as a controller. That's how simple these games are going to be. I feel like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Because I don't know how successful their games have been.
I don't know. They've been on GamePass, both of them, or all of them at some point. I don't know. I don't even know what games they put out besides those two. So, anyways, I don't know. I still think that Game Pass is obviously the clear winner here in terms of games, the streaming stuff, and even just like the subscription model stuff. I think Stoy, you're right that people are looking way too hard into this Netflix gaming thing. It's clearly going to be some sort of broad appeal thing. PlayStation's not going to show up on here. Xbox Game Pass isn't going to show up on here, right? It's just going to be like a family friendly. Let's play a trivia game. Let's play Monopoly on TV instead of whatever, that kind of thing.
Yeah, because when I looked at the list of the full motion video, choose your own adventure games, more than half of those are like kids shows.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if as most of these games were like kind of catered to kids.
Yeah, great. I can't wait for the Coco Melon tie-in.
Okay, that's you. I don't know what that is.
Well,
it's a kid show that my daughter's obsessed with.
Okay, got it.
I think that's why people want to know when they talk about games, is it going to be more mature?
Nope. Absolutely not.
Like that.
I mean, I bet there's some horror themed stuff for adults on here, but most of it's going to be broad appeal stuff. So,
yeah, we're not going to see any AAA titles on here, and I think if anything, Amazon have we've learned a lesson from Amazon even like Google Stadia. They put they both companies put together big development teams to make big games, and then all of a sudden, like Amazon, laid off a bunch of people. Google Stadia decimated a lot of their development studios.
And
so
80% of that team went to Haven now, right? With Jade Raymond anyway. So
yeah. So I mean, I think maybe Netflix is learning from everybody else's mistakes to say let's just make some small little companion titles, maybe for kids shows out there. And maybe something else with I keep saying Black Mirror, but that's a pretty popular Netflix series. But yeah,
I could see them tying stuff into Stranger Things and stuff too. Anything that's like remotely popular, I could see them having tie-in stuff too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Or
it's just too bad they can't really touch The Witcher because that's a CD Projekt Red's property. So
yeah. I kind of feel like this is a way to maybe if stuff does get canceled. Maybe they'll probably use the service, the test, to see if that series is popular or not.
The thing is, though, like, for these types of games, though, you would have to plan the game. Like, if you want them to tie into the show, you would have to plan out, like, multiple seasons in advance and start development on the game before you even start production on the show, almost. Like,
well, that's why I said if they go to FMV route, recording the show and the game at the same time, doing those shots. So when the season is over with, then they could go to the game to like maybe hold them over, and they just do one episode per month. That's 3 hours, and then when it's time for the next season to come, because maybe the sales or wherever if they're selling stuff, if that does good, it may show Netflix, oh, we do got people that's interested. Okay, go ahead, do season 2.
It's like that, whatever. It's like that Matrix game that came out for Xbox that tied into the movies.
Ooh. That was a good Matrix game. It was actually pretty solid because you actually got to play as Ghost, which was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the Sega one that came out.
The Matrix?
The Matrix?
Yeah.
Sega?
I think you are really confused, Ed, because the Matrix came out after Sega died.
Right, yeah. Even after Dreamcast, for sure.
I think there was a PC version of the Matrix.
There was.
But there was
Online.
There was I kind of lost what I was going to say. Whatever.
Gosh, Ed, look what you did.
Ed, it confused me with the whole Sega and the Matrix thing. And
I know.
Because you said Matrix.
Ed's living
Xbox.
in the Matrix where Sega still makes consoles.
No, you said the Matrix on Xbox.
Hashtag Dreamcast 2.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Xbox and PS2 when there was those Matrix games.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Those are the ones we're talking about.
Right, and I thought Sega had the rights to the Matrix.
No, I thought that was Atari. Didn't Atari publish that?
I think Atari published the first one, and then WB Games published the Path of
WB
Neo.
Games, yeah.
Okay.
So,
that's a weird license on how they did that. How the heck did Sega get it? Like
Sega didn't get it. Atari didn't get it.
Eddie, you're lying.
I thought Sega did.
Ed partied all weekend. He's tired.
No, okay. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
Now I have to look this up. Gosh, Ed, look what you did.
I'm Googling it too. So.
The Matrix.
Okay,
games.
Matrix Online. Yeah, he did say that. So.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I knew Sega did one, and when you said Xbox, I'm just like, I thought they had one. I thought they did one for America for the Xbox, but if it's Atari or Warner Brothers, then that might be in the console games.
Well, Sega and Warner Brothers kind of developed the game, and then they sold it to Sony Online Entertainment, promptly after releasing it. And then,
okay.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
Midway published Path of Neo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it was like a partnership with Atari. It says publishers Atari, Midway Games West.
All right.
All right.
That's why I was just like the licensing stuff. I'm like, that's weird on how they did that with that game, with that series.
They should have just stopped after the first movie.
Reloaded was good.
Now we're getting a fourth movie. Morpheus isn't even in it.
Isn't it a reboot?
He's not even in it?
Because the Matrix Online is canon, and Morpheus dies in the Matrix Online. And that game is canon to the series, apparently. So
All right then.
I don't know. Michael B. Jordan is in it though, so.
Is it a reboot or is it?
No, it's the Matrix 4.
I think they're continuing the story.
Yeah.
If it would be a reboot, it should be with it would. I would assume it should be with new characters because, like, I know Carrie-Anne Moss is in it, and Keanu Reeves obviously coming back. So.
Yeah, everyone's coming back except for Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
So, anyways, there's our Matrix Minute here on Arsenal X.
Matrix with an X.
It's true.
The X stands for Matrix.
Wow.
Still the worst letter in the alphabet.
Whatever.
All right. Well, we're gonna get out of here. I want to thank everybody for watching and/or listening. Remember, we're live now on Sunday nights here on Boss Rush Games Live. You should check us out. Give us a follow if you enjoy the show. Stoy, thank you for joining us tonight. Where can we find you?
Hey man, thanks for being a part of thanks for letting me be a part of this. I run the EXP podcast. It's a video game podcast. Obviously, we record episodes twice a week. Our episodes drop Mondays and Thursdays. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at EXPcast, and also on our YouTube channel, where you can actually catch video clips and even listen to full audio of our podcast as well. So at EXPcast, and you can also follow me on Arsenal X podcast.
Yes. Ed, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at ThatPretcherCode. You can check out Nintendo Power Block on Mondays at 7:30/8:30 p.m. Yeah, check me out on Optional Opinion World War One Podcast.
Yeah, you can find me at IamCoreyHD on Twitter. You can find me on the Boss Rush Podcast on Nintendo Power Block, on Tower Casuals, the Destiny Podcast. The show is kind of, off the seat of our pants. Next week, there will be a proper doc for everyone. Get some questions in there, get some real segments in there, and we'll get it figured out. I know everybody had a long weekend.
Eddie, I know we definitely had a long weekend. So
yeah, Stoy got Ed party hard over there in Wisconsin or Chicago or wherever you guys were. Right, Chicago, right, was where you were.
Yeah, Chicago. Yeah.
So.
Well, we got the Midwest Gaming Classic coming up in November, and that's going to be in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
So, Eddie, expect you to be there. So.
Oh, I'm coming. I'm excited to come.
Man, in November, maybe I'll sneak up there.
Hey, all right. I'll see you guys up here.
Yeah. So yeah, Arsenal X, we're back. Jesse will be back next week. He slept through it. That guy. He's tired.
That guy.
He's a tired guy. That guy
Mm-hmm.
needs to sleep. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, we love you. Goodbye.